It's time to meet this week's NAB AFL Oz Kicker of the Year nominee. Thanks to NAB doing more to fortify Australia. This lucky Oz kicker will enjoy an amazing Toyota AFL Grand Final experience, including walking in the parade, playing on the MCG and presenting a premiership medal. Let's get a Hamish who's with this week's nominee.
That little man there is Rory Davey. Welcome to you, Rory. You've made your way down from where today?
Bondi.
And you play for who?
Moore Park Tigers.
Who's your favourite team in the AFL?
Richmond.
Favourite player?
Jack Revolt, because he looks like me.
He looks like you?
Yes.
Now tell me this, you haven't been to Etihad before, but you've been to the MCG once. What happened?
Well, we went into the rooms and my sister punched a player in the nuts.
Okay. Is that a true story?
Yes.
Okay, how many goals did you kick tonight?
10.
Okay, and what happened to your first football?
I kicked it, my dad didn't get the mark and it went into the Tassie Devil enclosure at the reptile park and they absolutely destroyed it.
Okay, so your sister hit Chris Newman in the rooms. You lost your first football in the reptile enclosure. For that, you get 2 grand final tickets. And when you're not playing football, what do you like doing?
Knitting.
Sorry?
Knitting.
Knitting. So we brought you some wool, some needles. You can make a scarf after half time. And quickly, the Richmond theme song, very quick.
Away from Tigerland, a fighting fury away from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin. Oi, risking
Tim, Jude, he's a very passionate Tiger fan. Over to you guys.
He's a lively customer, all right, Hammer. Now, Jude, in 1993, Essendon were down by 42 points at half-time in the prelim final. Bomber Thompson inspired the group at half-time with what he had to say. Do you think he's going to be able to do it in the second half? And where do they need to start Essendon to get back into this game?
Well, he kept them downstairs just then for a long time. I think he needs to inject Jay Carlisle into the game. They're causing too much hesitation going forward. Needs to help out Joe Danaher, have an extra target up there, and the positivity from the stoppages. They need to release someone into space and get it going forward.
As simple as it sounds, though, is it just contest by contest? You can't be worrying about the scoreboard right now, can you, for an Essendon player?
Absolutely. You just want to break it down into contest by contest, and sure enough, if you get a bit few on the board, you might be 3 or 4 goals down at three-quarter time.
Back to you, boys.
Good on you, Tim. I think forget Bomber, young Rory perhaps needs to talk to them because he's got a few good ideas.
Those boys from Bondi have a bit of front, don't they?
He's pretty confident, young fella. Both of them are.
I reckon they should start with Buddy, by the way.
For the Swans, Kennedy Bird and Kieran Jack all have 18 possessions. The Bombers, Jobe Watson, 20, leads everybody on the ground. And Brendan Goddard with 18. Well, can they get back? This is a vital quarter, obviously. We're about to find out. Friday night football, margin 43 points, 36 at quarter time. So nothing much changed in the second term. Bell Chambers, Watson cleverly, Heppel under pressure. Bagley got the arms free, almost coughed it up. Hurley coming at the ball strongly is taken high and will get the free kick. Came with courage. Michael Hurley from half back goes out wide. Sufficient carry too. That was a clever kick, clever mark. Bagley to Heppel, bobbing up again, and Stanton on the lead. Wheels around, wants to deliver, goes long down towards full forward. Some body work down there. Right, it could have almost been held. Laidler arrives quickly and takes it across the line. Minor score to open the action in the third term.
So they're able to get the scoreboard ticking over in the second quarter, Essendon. They kicked 4 goals, but it was just the damage at the other end. It was mainly Franklin in that second term. It was the midfielders in the opening. Jack with that familiar style. That's a beautiful kick. And Parker's so impressive. He was part of that goal avalanche early, wasn't he? So slowing it down, and that's a bit of an up and under. Kennedy was underneath. Lloyd just missed us Jeddah, and then Zaharakis and Malcheski go in hard. Watson puts a tackle on. Ball not quite out. And still not out. Hey, Tim, can you hear me? What did Bomber say in 1993?
Well, he just said, let's get back to the basics. We had team rules. We've gone a long way away from those. And so that's all it was at half-time. And, I mean, you don't turn it around at 1 quarter of football. But, you know, in 2 quarters of football, we'd done it. So he'd go back to the basics. I mean, he's very much a basics coach, minute by minute.
Ball up towards the wing now. This is Parker. Slips it away. Hanbury gave it to Derricks. Jack going down, but not before he got a hand pass to Franklin, whose hand pass wasn't so good from the deck. Goddard gave it to Ambrose, to Zaharakis, back to Goddard. So industrious tonight. What a beautiful finish. Well, Paddy was undecided as he came to that ball to take it on the chest or in the fingers. Did neither. Bounced off his chest eventually. Rampy decides he'll go out of bounds and there'll be a boundary throw in. Well, he couldn't go inboard. He was going to be tackled in any case, so he decided he would go right, and they've got a boundary throw in. Well, they should have marked that one.
It's a good call, Dennis. You were so spot on. He had a couple of different goes at the one, didn't he, and messed it up. So Jack, McVeigh, nothing's happened in this quarter. You feel like Essendon, they've come out okay, but they haven't been able to get that goal that they've been looking forward to. Bill Chambers, ball not out. What a good kick by Goddard going forward a moment ago.
I'm still getting over that sort of lack of inspiration in that half-time address from Bob back in those years. I thought there was some inspirational theme, Tim, you were going to tell us.
Well, bottom line...
Go back to the basics. How boring.
Tim's too modest. They won by 11 points. Tim kicked the first goal and the last goal.
That was it.
Tim, you should have made it up. We would have believed it.
I'll give you a better 1 3/4 time.
Zaharakis, Malcheski, throw. I know it's very early, but do you feel that Essendon have started a lot better, don't you?
Getting more numbers around the ball. Bruce, when you look on screen, there's the next player in's an Essendon player. So that's, I mean, it's...
So Merritt to Fletcher. Not going to be a goal. Getting high. It was Ryder, and now Richards over the top.
Kieran Jack again, so good. Drives it up towards the wing. Reed is outnumbered. Going back after it, Myers got support, met solidly by Franklin, but not before he got the hand pass away. This is Hurley. Hurley under pressure. It's a high ball back towards half forward. Well, Derricks is feeling the vibe. Not so good that time, though. The journeyman launched himself, and he's paid the price. Bill Chambers gets the free. Good to see him back, too. Goes in short. Zaharakis looking inside the forward 50, kicks to space. Ryder this time, perhaps. Well, free goes, and eventually comes up trumps. Huge kick, this one. He's got one.
One's good.
Perhaps this could kickstart a revival. Got to start somewhere. Matty Ryder. He's looked dangerous. He just hasn't made the most of his opportunities. Right behind this kick. Kick from about 35 metres out. A lot of hopes riding on this kick, and he puts it through. So the fans in the stadium, just about all Essendon supporters, like what they're seeing at the moment.
Much more positive start from the Bombers here. Right, a sensational hands after dropping one a little bit earlier, but it's been the 7 tackles to 2 and also 4 inside 50s to 0.
So back to that quarter-time margin. So next goal here, pretty big, I reckon, for Essendon. When a team gets out to a 6-goal lead, you feel like they're in complete control, but for the last quarter and a bit, it's been all square.
Yep.
So let's see if they can make some inroads. Bill Chambers, that's smothered by Jack, so good. Little give Kennedy, little give to Reed, didn't get it out. Reed getting to Parker, Parker looking for a high tackle, doesn't get a ball up. So good numbers again, Merritt and Heppel, two of the young guns, getting around Parker there.
Mark Thompson looking quite animated in the box. Derricks knocks it down. Now, Kennedy's going to get a free kick just wide of the pack. Well, in the pack, actually. Sends it inside the forward 50. Big leap, Tippett. Certainly his timing not there tonight. Over goes Goods. The hand pass comes from Hooker, taken by Bird. Oh, that hurts. They've got some timely goals tonight. That's one of them.
So he gets the goal. Lee probably is 6 or 7, but he's got a good number on his back. Yeah. Bobby Skilton and Paul Kelly.
That's right, yes. He's had some famous peers earlier.
He's been very good. And as Dennis said, their timing with their goals. I mean, every time, Essendon not threatening, we know that, but they've been able to keep them at a long lead, haven't they? So Hibbert getting through. Zaharakis liked his game, Zaharakis. That was a terrific back turn. Gets to fall forward, no free kick. Bombers want it. Laidler in a tight squeeze. Richards runs it over. Nelson with him, boundary throw in. Bomber fans passionate, wanting more for the ups right now. Can they get a bit more out of their players?
142 points, boundary throw in. Derricks No call. Seemed okay. Wide of the pack, Hibbert. Watson. Now Dempsey lines up and he misses to the near side. Shoulder to shoulder with that boundary throw in. Derek's putting it about tonight. He's been very valuable again. Grundy. Jetta on the outer side. Faster than a speeding bullet and almost as thin. At the moment, though, from half-back, he's not going to take a run, or will he? You never know. He sends a high ball towards the wing. In from the side, Parker. Derek's missed the ball. As a result, goes to a dangerous situation for Sydney behind the pack. Hibbert looking for support, looking back over the shoulder. Hanbury dives in over the football to get a free kick. He was taken front on. And that was a reward for courage and endeavour. Wants to go immediately. Searching ball inside the forward 50. Fisted away by Hurley. Taken by Myers. Goes back to Hooker. Hooker the high ball to the wing, but it's coming back. Derricks lays it off. Hanbury again. Inside the 50 once more. In from the side. Parker. Spilled it. Opportunity for Myers. Well, that was a chance gone begging for the Swans. Hibbert on the outer side. Spots Ryder. Gets it back from Ryder. Dempsey running out of space. That was clever. Heard the voice from Goddard. Zaharakis. He's in the action. Ambrose and Zaharakis a little 1-2. Now the captain joins in. Back to Zaharakis in space. Hibbert needs to control this footy. Slides in awkwardly and rather tentatively. Got to his feet. Rampy grabs the ball away from him and feeds it across. And the moment has passed as the kick goes towards the outer side.
Franklin front spot. Well done, Hurley. Myers off a step. Goddard. Oh, Franklin hard on Goddard. And then quick kick from Myers. A good one to Heppel.
They're the next, sorry, Bruce, they're consistently the next player into the contest at the moment, Essendon, both in the air and on the ground.
Zaharakis to Watson. Gee, Job's kicked the ball superbly tonight. And now Danaher getting it in quickly. Bell Chambers, well done. Richards at the back. Roving it though, Ambrose. Looking, slow kick. Milsham trying to protect the footy. Getting back late, a little give. Over the top, Rampy, pressure on Cunningham. Brought down, ball spills out. Stanton goes back to Milsham. Back to Stanton in the pocket. Not a bad kick, actually, just couldn't quite get there, Bell Chambers. And a boundary thrown. Do you feel like this is the most competitive 4 or 5 minutes we've had all night?
The intensity's lifted, Bruce. The tackle counts up. They're leading contested possessions just in this quarter. So the effort's there, and it is the contest-by-contest approach that Tim mentioned that would have been Bomber Thompson's message at half-time.
Boundary throw in, a short one. No one touched the football. Runs clearly behind the pack. Berg gathers it. Out of defence, spirals it up towards the wing, and they've got 2-on-1 here, the Swans. Derrick's clever. Gives it across to Kennedy, who doubts about going back to Derricks, who was actually in the process of interchanging, if you don't mind. He's unorthodox. Ball on half-back as far as the Bombers are concerned, but they've got the numbers around the footy. Hurley gave it to Stanton. Across it comes to Dempsey. Now a chance on the outer side, but I told you that Jetta was quick. Oh, well done by Goddard. Knew he had a lot of help bringing up the rear, and as a result took care of Jetta, and now it's Zaharakis again.
But Jetta's pressure was terrific. Second, third effort. I reckon he caused the turnover in the end. Shaw goes down the line. Heppel cuts it off and takes the mark.
And that was the sort of effort that really elevated Lewis Jetta's game a couple of years ago, the second, third, fourth contest. And I mean, he's out his legs. He's just grabbed for the top of his left hamstring there. We'll keep an eye on that.
Heppel got busy in this quarter. Danaher, big fly, not quite. Grundy. Ball spilling out. Milsham. Watson near the umpire's really hurt here in the middle of the ground.
Collided with Malcheski.
Parker.
That's a move.
No.
You don't cheer that.
So, no, that's not good at all. Hanbury. So Hanbury off the step. I think we're going to stop play, are we?
Okay, so do we start with an Essendon ball? Yeah, just wait though. Yeah, you can put it down here. I'll take it.
What about the rest of you? Do you feel like you can get up or not?
Virgo, start.
Umpire Pennell it is who's down.
But your neck's definitely okay.
Neck's okay.
Right, let's just have a bit of a feel on that. You feeling sick or not?
Yeah, a little bit.
You think it's stretcher or get you to feet?
Joe, just huddle up, mate.
All right. Yeah, we'll get a stretcher. All right.
Yeah, please.
It's Ted Troy.
Yeah.
So the stretcher is coming out.
Feeling sick?
Yeah.
You're with us still, Troy, aren't you?
Yeah, mate, yeah.
Just up there.
It's compelling television.
I think he's conscious. Okay, we'll leave him there for now.
Unfortunately, he just wasn't expecting it, was he?
No, and they do have a lot of, you know, microphone and paraphernalia around there that just looks like hit at the wrong place.
Well, he's physically ill, we can hear it, can't we? Yeah.
And in Malcheski, it affected him. He stays there for a while, so not great to see.
Well, let's hope umpire Purnell's okay. A few years back at Troy Curley, if he even touched an umpire, I mean, it was a very serious thing. Now, it's been relaxed, hasn't it, over the last...
Well, yes, well, I mean, the players have to have a duty of care, of course, to keep out of the umpire's way, but nevertheless, you know, sometimes they just come from opposite directions and the collisions happen, unfortunately. Rarely, fortunately, but occasionally.
Yeah, I think that was for more at a stoppage when the umpire was backing out. You had duty of care to give them a thoroughfare backwards, but that was just in general play.
Yeah.
So I think that's two people not seeing one another, but you've got one very fit athlete and an umpire. I mean, of course, he's going to come off second best.
Well, you wrote in an article in the Age today, Wayne, about the bump. Now, that's obviously not a bump, but sometimes accidents happen on the field, don't they?
And that's exactly what that was.
It may be prioritised, though, I would think, this week, don't you? I mean, probably most of them have been accidents. This is an interesting situation.
Yeah. Umpire Purnell running back, Malcheski watching the ball, not seeing him, obviously. So it's almost umpire Purnell running into Malcheski as much as Malcheski running into umpire Purnell there, wasn't it?
But they were metres in the clear, weren't they? Bagley was the other player there, just behind Malcheski.
So a lot of care being taken here.
Hats off to the Essendon medical staff also to respond really quickly to the umpire out there.
And a big lull in the game. And Essendon, whilst they haven't done much on the scoreboard, they've actually come out with a lot more vigour. So the emergency umpire coming out. Doc Reed there in the centre of it all.
Just thinking, was there any contact between Bagley and Malcheski?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think they just were, the umpire was looking in one direction, Malcheski another direction, and just sort of went into each other.
There seemed to be, I think there was space between Malcheski and Bagley as umpire Purnell comes over.
Hopefully he's all right.
So let's have a look. So Malcheski away from Bagley.
Fair chance there's been the clash of heads.
Clash of heads, really innocuous, but a clash of heads. No doubt.
Just hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering how long it's been since we've had play here. It's been a long, long break here in this match.
Well, Josh has come up with a very interesting stat. The only time that Malcheski has ever been reported was for contact with an umpire.
4.5 minutes it's been so far.
The crowd's response to this initially was a little disappointing, but I think it's the right response now as the umpire comes off the ground. So after all of that, Hurley's still got the football. He sends a high one down towards Derricks. Big leap at the back by Danaher. Hit the ground running. Looks towards half forward. Sends it long with his searching ball inside the forward 50. Richards reaches over the top. On the assist is Rampy. Unusual hand pass went behind Bird. Bird gave it across to Shaw. Hanbury. Rampy ran into trouble. Bounces out of trouble. Taken high.
This is a quick game, isn't it? There's such a lull there and then bang. Big mark from Danaher. The speed of the game, the speed of the players is just extraordinary.
Well, somebody threw a switch. Malcheski with the footy. That's a beautiful kick into the path of Kennedy. Perhaps could have tested Danaher there. Wasn't quite aware of who was behind him. He sends the ball inside the forward 50 then. Tippett. With him was Fletcher. Falls in front. Heppel. In the opposite direction, Lloyd. Fletcher dives in. Lloyd had the ball momentarily. Tippett tried to get it long, couldn't do that. Merritt gave it to Ryder. Hooker. Now Zach Merritt involved a couple of times to midfield. That's a good kick, demanding something of Stanton, who came back to the footy. 1-on-1 right on the 50. Richards favoured by the kick.
Grundy. Disappointing kick by Stanton. Merritt's kick to him was a beauty, but he just gave the chance to the City defender, Shaw. Looked like he'd hurt himself early in the match. Hanbury, well, we talked a lot about his work rate. Jude, you're down there. You talked about his work rate and his numbers before the game. How have you seen his game?
Not too bad. He's hasn't hit the. He's only had the 21 disposals so far, so he's moving pretty well. But his work rate, obviously, the last month and a half has been incredible.
Goods, a goal in that second term. It's been a little cameo in a way. That's a beautiful mark. This guy is certainly a player. Parker and Lloyd tries to get to Tippett. Then Tippett with that big frame back to Lloyd. That searching handball, that was clever by Bird. McVeigh, good stuff though by the Bombers. Zaharakis the first to get back. Bagley, ball not quite squirting out. Still in there, ball up. So
I can't remember if Bomber Thompson said this at half-time or not, but I think one of the things he did say at half-time today was, as soon as the players get the ball, to turn and actually play on here, because there's a real difference in the way Essendon played this second half in terms of trying to get the ball into their forward line quickly.
I think Ron Barassi said that in 1970, Tim, as well, didn't he?
Tim's got them all. Tippett, Bird, Parker kicks it straight up in the air. They come from all directions. Essendon in particular. Bagley collided with Heppel, but got the ball out of bounds. Carlisle to be introduced soon, you would think. Past halfway in the third term. Tippett and Ryder at the boundary throw-in. Ryder over the top. Knocks it deeper. Hooker gets a kick away outside the defensive 50, but onto the chest of Richards. So Richards, too far out to score. Virtually hugs the boundary. That's not a particularly attacking kick. Deep in the pocket, Kennedy hits the behind post on the angle, on the bounce, and we've got another throw-in.
Wonder who comes off for Carlo. What type of player?
Well, yeah, well, normally it's a slower, bigger, slower player comes off for the quicker sub, but I guess it would be the reverse here. I suspect one of the Essendon small mediums has to be replaced in due course.
Heppel, Kennedy, Goods, well done. Jack probably threw it out. Goods got it back from Jack, and then on the left, that's clever. Rampy couldn't quite. Onto him in a hurry, the Bombers. Goddard, Zach Merritt. Geez, impressive, Zach Merritt. Little kick by Zaharakis. Holding up there was Aylett. Ball not out, ball up.
I think it'll be Bell Chambers.
You reckon they will actually go as the pre-game? But they need to find out. I mean, they've had 11 scoring shots halfway through the third quarter, and they're actually playing well, but they just can't generate scoring shots. They just got not enough class in that forward group.
Derricks goes after the football through the legs of Hanbury, overrunning at Hibbert. Well played by Hanbury. Had it, pushes it forward. Bell Chambers scuffs it forward. Down goes Melcheski. Over the top, Dempsey. Grabbed in there by Kennedy. Hurried kick inside the forward 50. Well played, Hooker. Backed himself against the bouncing ball. Hand passes, though. It wanted a kick. Dempsey was hit hard. Back it comes to Hooker. He was dragged down, reaching in his Lloyd. Keeps it alive. Kennedy ducks the head. Goes back into three Bombers, and we'll have a ball up.
Jude, you must love the way Luke Parker goes about his football.
He's an absolute hard nut. I love it. But it's just these sort of rolling mauls especially allow the Swans to set up well defensively. Currently they've got Reece Shaw sitting back just in front of Joe Danaher to help mop up as well. So, you know, Essendon need to somehow break this open.
Tom Derricks has got a free kick. Working behind Melcheski. Left the football behind. So Derricks again has to compensate. Parker. Franklin, look away, hand pass. Laidler goes down towards the pocket. Tippett outnumbered. He certainly attracts a crowd. Heppel goes back and takes a timely defensive mark. His 19th possession.
He's had a good quarter. Just hold Adam, hold. So Carlisle. Oh, gee, Hurley's in trouble down there, isn't he?
Hurley's in real serious trouble, boys. He's just really hunched over at the moment.
He was on his haunches earlier in the game too, Bruce, so maybe a recount if that's something in the midriff perhaps.
Bagley. Good kick, Watson. And a remarkable opening half. Watson in a team that was getting well beaten. Short to Zaharakis. Stanton and McVeigh. Stanton just clever, toe poking the ball forward. Getting some help from Aylett. Aylett probably shoved in the back with a boundary throw in. So Hurley
Interesting just watching the bench from where we are. Carlisle sitting in the second row. I reckon I'd be getting active, ready, saying, look, I'm ready to go. Hurley's in a bit of strife.
Do a bit of advertising along the boundary line, Tom.
Absolutely, yeah.
Heppel, quick kick.
They're just checking out his jaw at the moment, so we'll wait and see.
Sore and sorry, Michael Hurley. Malcheski releases Shaw into space. Runs through midfield. Goes out wide, and why not? Franklin. He's booted forward, had him at half-time. Wheels around, not a bad kick. Into the path of Jack. He's a left footer. And as a result, didn't quite know what to do there. He was trying to work his way around. Spoils come to the young fellow Merritt. That's Zach Merritt. Down to Heppel. The young fellow, well, there's quite a contrast. Fletcher comes across the ground. Goddard over the top. Hibbert, a left footer as well. Does nicely. Creates his own space. Pulls away. Goes down towards half forward. Oh, good mark too. Lunging forward, Aylett.
Switches back to Hibbert on that left foot. That looked good off the boot. And we haven't had a score by either team for nearly 17 minutes. Now, I know we had the big delay, but it's been a real arm wrestle the last quarter of an hour or so. And Ryder, has Hurley been checked out? Now, here's the injury for Hurley. Just running into Parker. And Ryder basically playing as a full forward in this quarter. He's kicked a couple, including one in this term. Gee, that's a handsome-looking kick. Just not quite.
Again, it started right down the other end of the ground. It was Bagley and Merritt and getting the outnumber. The intensity's there from the Bombers at the moment. Just need to be more efficient and effective going forward.
Hurley back out there.
There's Grundy, took the short pass, couple of bounces, took him up to the wing, and he finds Goods. Mark is a tough hombre, some ferocious tackling last week, and that bump, he was virtually stationary. And one would have thought that Hurley would have taken him out. Here's Bagley, meantime. Back to Hooker. Hooker's short. Melksham needs to be precise here and is. Hocking. Bill Chambers leads in the middle. Again, precision required. Closing his derricks. Doesn't get there in time. Bill Chambers slips a hand pass away to Goddard. Goddard goes across the ground. Favouring the run of Myers. Needs to knock it forward. That was his intention. Well, had a second choice, of course. That was to take it cleanly and give it to Fletcher. He did that. The kick comes down towards half forward. Zaharakis with Jetta closing. Oh, well done, Jetta. Got him down. They've got the numbers, though, the Bombers, around this football. Ambrose, well, he hasn't got it, but he's still flailing away in there, and eventually the ball goes out of bounds.
Boys, the sub's been made. Jake Carlisle's on and Joe Danaher's off.
Okay, so Danaher looked up and about a bit early in this quarter, didn't he? So he's the one that's come off.
Yeah, no, he has actually had a pretty good 10 minutes.
Persisting with Carlisle forward again, that's the clear message.
Yeah. Just can't score either. Well, Ryder got it behind a moment ago, but no goal for a long time. Parker had it for a while. Bell Chambers getting a lot busier. Jack Clever. Laidler on that left. That's a good kick, actually. Let's see, he's got the run. Kennedy, Hocking, couple of big bodies. Kennedy and Hocking. Hocking has a win. Gets it to Bagley. Bad handball. Hurley. Back to Myers. And then Myers off a step. Zaharakis, he's been busy. Takes the mark. Well, we've got to admire the Bombers' effort in this quarter. A long way back on the scoreboard, but they've really dug in. Good stuff, Jack. Lloyd, Derricks, switches to Smith. Smith out wide. Franklin. How does the ball bounce? Can he take them on? Decides to go with a neat kick over the back of Tippett. Tippett and Hooker. And Hooker running towards the line. Oh, gee.
Oh,
he didn't need to do that.
Yeah, he was going to probably run out, or he could have just ran it out. It was just a bit obvious, wasn't it?
That's the Kale Hooker of old.
You know, Tom, I was about to say, you said he was probably the All-Australian fullback centre back, and I was going to say he should be after tonight, and Tippett gets a goal. There you go. A bit of a gift, but a good kid.
Yeah.
Just didn't need it, did it?
No, it was going out of bounds.
Is it me or is it Ben Affleck?
Well, he was probably a bit. He was satisfied he wasn't chasing Buddy Franklin around that pocket there. Give the ball a help outside.
Just ignore me, Tom. That's all right.
And he looks a bit like Ben Affleck,
doesn't he? Parker sends it out wide.
Batman.
McGlynn, or rather McVeigh, gave it across to Hanbury. His kick to half forward intended for Franklin. Oh, gee whiz. Hurley back in the wars again, and no free kick. Well, there were players, I think, between The man who was hitting the umpire Farmer, I don't think he could have seen that. But obviously, from our vantage point, in a large section of the crowd, it was patently obvious. Tippett's got the football. And this doesn't look good either. So, another delay coming up here. And hopefully, the bomber who's down is okay. Did I call Hurley? I think I did. There he is, yeah. Oh, dear.
Well, that's the same as choosing to bump and it's had high contact again.
Lee, what do you think, Lee?
Well, they're both going down at the ball, but yeah, that's a really interesting one because they're both sort of going down at the ball, but Hurley's got his head forward, and I guess when that happens, the opposition player just has to be so careful that he doesn't hit him on the top of the head.
It's where the instinct of the player, you have to sort of somehow curb that instinct because I think he's in a bit of trouble.
I immediately looked at the closest umpire, and there were about 2 or 3 players, I'm sure, screening him. You know how they converge on the footy.
By the way, Doc Reed's still down in the rooms with the umpire at the moment. Doc Reed for the Bombers. So Hurley is a tough hombre.
In the wars too, isn't he? Just came back on the ground.
Yes, I mean, really, the difference is Hanbury's braced for contact. I don't know if he bumped, but he certainly braced for contact.
He did.
It really is that judgment call of the whole duty of care. Was he negligent? That is what will be decided eventually.
So Tippett, meantime, going at his second, and suddenly a genie has been uncorked. Poor old Cale Hooker. Let him back in the game.
You're just taught as a player to go lower and harder. At this, the hesitation that's being created in AFL football right now, the bobbling ball, 2 guys going at it, trying to keep your feet.
Do you think Hanbury will get time, Jude?
It's a tough one. It's right on the head. He's taking him out.
Shaw got it from McVeigh. Out wide. Tippett, who's kicked a couple of goals in the last minute. See, one thing, that was out before, wasn't it? Looked at Tippett's been kicking straight. I mean, has not looked like missing. There's Hanbury, of course, involved a moment ago. He also got a secondary hit, but he's picked himself up, and he might be a little worried about the immediate future. Tippett getting it forward from McVeigh and a boundary throw. This is the game-high margin at the moment.
We all agree it should have been a free kick, though, don't
yeah,
we?
definitely.
I mean, that's
definitely
obvious.
High contact, yeah.
We understand that much as the boundary throw-in comes up. Reaching over the top, Bell Chambers, missed by Zaharakis. Comes back to Hooker, gives it across to Goddard in the congestion, sends a high ball towards the outer side. Up goes Carlisle. Now, Zach Merritt's away, couple of bounces. He's been eye-catching tonight, has to wait for teammates. Carlisle went to ground, feeds it back to the speedster. He gets it across to Ambrose, wheels around, pulls it back. Loose ball bouncing inside the forward 50. Oh, well done, Melcheski. Backed himself against the footy. Richards, the meat and the sandwich there. They'll have a ball up. And we've certainly noticed Zaharakis involved again just moments ago. Melcheski, the worse for wear. It's been a tough quarter, this one, physically. Zaharakis, 14 possessions in the term.
Yeah, no, it's been good, Dennis.
Reece Shaw a bit ginger too from the last contest, so a couple of swans lame out there.
I reckon Shaw was wounded early too, Tom, wasn't he? Laidler's little one. Parker gets it from Kennedy. Well done, Fletcher on Fletcher. Back to Melcheski. I think 2 Lars operations. Am I right in saying that with the knees? I reckon. I mean, it's been an incredible effort by him to get back so quickly after 2 Lars operations. I mean, he's really done a remarkable job, hasn't he?
And those repaired legs have kicked some very important goals in their time too, haven't they?
Sure have.
Zaharakis, another possession. Goddard's kick, a little too delicate. Heppel goes back, outnumbered. And Rampy takes it across the boundary line. Came off a boot. So Essendon, I think, get the football out there. Who will take it? I think it will be the older of the 2 Merritts, Jackson Merritt, who's been pretty quiet tonight, but he's had a bit of company.
So Mark Thompson down on the boundary. The 2 areas he would have loved to have addressed with contested possessions and tackles, and they've got right back on. That's they're the choices you make in a game.
52 points the margin then. Essendon through Merritt with a chance to pull that back, but gee, it's a big hill to climb now. First 10 minutes or so in the term, very good, and the tempo certainly went up from both clubs. Off hands after the siren, so 3/4 time. A lot to ponder The umpire went down. Then Hurley went down a couple of times. Friday night football still on the up and up. It's 15-4-94 Sydney. Essendon 6-6-42.
If you can't watch it on TV, catch every game live on your mobile or tablet with an AFL Live Pass. Get a 2-week free trial now at afl.com.au/Live Pass.